the skills, be the boss. No more time to feel lost. Lead the way every day. Find success, it's here to stay. Rise and shine, it's your time. Still up, raise the climb. Navigate, innovate. It's your fate, don't be late. Get the skills, be the boss. No more time to feel lost. Lead the way every day. Find success, it's here to stay.
If you're a new manager or hoping to be a new manager, join us in our exploration into what managers need to know. This program will set you up for success by building your knowledge and confidence in the skills you need to be effective. Hello, and welcome back to the fourth in our series on problem solving and decision making. We defined the problem. We got to the root cause because the obvious problem is rarely the problem. We identified decision-making criteria so that when we come up with alternative ways to solve this problem, they will fit within the parameters of what we need and what we expect. We have developed alternatives using a variety of different methods, and now we need to make a decision. So let's do that. We've got a variety of solutions. We need to trim them down. So there are two decision-making techniques that we'll look at: multi-voting and nominal group technique, making the selection. Now, we use nominal group technique for a formalized brainstorming when we were coming up with potential solutions and alternatives, but this is when we're making a decision. So with multi-voting, and my guess is I'm wearing the wrong glasses. That helps a lot. It's a way to conduct a straw poll or vote to select the most important or popular items with limited discussion and difficulty. It's accomplished through a series of votes, each cutting the list in half. So it often follows a brainstorming session to identify the few items worthy of immediate attention. The way you do it is you number each proposed alternative solution. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to whatever it is. If two or more items seem very similar, combine them. If the group agrees, they are the same. If there's no agreement, you keep them separate. And if you do group some, then you need to renumber. Then have all members choose several items they would like to discuss or address by writing down the numbers of these items on a sheet of paper. What you do is you allow each member a number of choices equal to at least 1/3 of the total number of items on the list. After all the members have silently completed their selections, you tally the votes. You may let members vote by a show of hands as each item number is called out. And if there's a need for secrecy, you conduct the vote by ballot, of course. To reduce the list, you eliminate those items with the fewest votes, and group size affects the results. A rule of thumb is if it's a small group, 5 or fewer members, cross off items with only 1 or 2 votes. If it is a medium-sized group of 6 to 15 members, eliminate anything with 3 or fewer votes. And if it is a large group, more than 15 members, eliminate items with 4 or fewer votes. You repeat steps 3 through 9 on the remaining list with the choices reduced accordingly and continue until only a few items remain. If no clear favorite emerges by this point, Have the group discuss which items should receive top priority, or you may take one last vote. Now let's look at nominal group technique. If there are more than 50 items, you use some method to reduce the list to 50 or fewer. And this is where multi-voting would come into play very nicely. You could use 1 or 2 rounds of multi-voting, or simply let members withdraw the less serious items they put on the list, if they're willing to do that. No member is allowed to remove an item that originated with another member unless the originator agrees. You give each participant from 4 to 8 cards, 3 by 5 inch or similar sized pieces of paper. Doesn't really matter how large or small the paper is. The number of cards is a rough fraction of the number of items still on the list. If you have up to 20 items, give 4 cards to each person. If there are 20 to 35 items, give 6 cards. And if there are 35 to 50 items, give 8 cards. And they're going to be voting one vote per card. Members individually make their selections from the list, and they write down what item per card, 1 card per item, 4, 6, or 8, depending on how many cards they have. Have members assign a point value to each item based on their preferences. And you can use a 1 to 10 point value. Each person assigns the highest point value to the most important item. The value again depends on the number of items selected. Oh, I'm wrong here. I'm sorry. In an 8-card system, the most preferred item is numbered 8. The second most preferred item is numbered 7, and so on until the least preferred item is numbered 1. The system is the same for groups of 4 or 6 selections, except of course, the highest point values are 4 or 6, respectively. It sometimes helps to have the participants rank the most important item first, then the least important item, and then keep going back and forth. After each participant has given point values to the items selected, the cards are collected and the votes tallied. It's easiest to mark the flip chart page with the original list. Note the value of each vote on an item received, then add up these values. The item that ends up with the highest point total is the group's selection. Now you want to apply your decision-making criteria to ensure that the solution you're considering meets those criteria. And if not, you need to reconsider which is your ultimate solution and might be the second solution. Now let's talk about how to assess a decision's effectiveness. A decision's potential effectiveness, excuse me, can be assessed by 2 criteria: the quality of the decision and the acceptance by those who have to implement it. First, let's look at the quality of a decision. If expertise is required to make a decision, then it is a high-quality problem, and high-quality problems tend to involve technical details. For example, the selection of evidence that would be admissible in court requires legal expertise. This, therefore, would be a high-quality problem. If the manager has all the knowledge and skills required, high-quality problems can be solved effectively by the manager working alone. However, if the manager does not have sufficient expertise, they will need to rely on the input of others who have that expertise. A low-quality problem means that a particular expertise is not necessary to make a decision. For example, Deciding the specific brand of copy paper for the copy machine doesn't require any particular expertise, so it would be a low quality decision. So, bottom line, if the manager has all of the expertise necessary and the other members or the staff or whoever's going to implement it accept that the manager does have all that expertise, then the manager can make the decision. Otherwise, it's wiser to get other people involved who do have the expertise. Now we need to look at the acceptance of the decision, because it's going to be critical if individuals who are responsible for implementing it are not involved in making the decision. They may not want to accept it and implement it. So high acceptance problems often involve the working conditions of staff. For example, the decision regarding how to handle a workload reduction problem requires staff acceptance and cooperation in order to ensure adequate implementation. As a result, this would be considered a high acceptance problem. High acceptance problems can best be addressed by involving the affected parties in the problem-solving decision-making process throughout when you can. Unless they feel they have had some input into the decision, they are less likely to accept it or cooperate in its implementation. This is where having decision-making criteria becomes so important, because I have worked with organizations where layoff was going to be necessary, funds were being cut, and they wanted to make sure that staff were involved in that decision and accepted it. And the only way they were going to accept it was if there were certain parameters that affected the decision. A low acceptance problem means that it's not going to be an issue, regardless of who makes the decision. This is either because the decision is considered insignificant itself, or the group affected by the decision is confident that the decision maker has the specific expertise necessary to make that decision. For example, it would be a low acceptance problem if a well-respected doctor was deciding whether to make a vertical or horizontal incision during a complex operation. The attending medical staff already accept the doctor's expertise to make the decision independently, so gaining their acceptance is not an issue. Let's talk. If you would like help in learning how to use the decision-making techniques, please schedule time to talk with me using the URL code or the QR code. Next week, which will be the last in our 5-section series, we're going to plan how to implement the decision once it has been made. We don't want to go through all of these steps, come up with a decision, want it to be accepted and implemented, and let it sit in a drawer. So please join us next week when we conclude our look at problem solving and decision making by looking at planning how to implement our solution. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Thank you so much for coming and participating in our discussion of what managers need to know. You can find the videos of this and previous sessions on my YouTube channel or under events on my LinkedIn profile. I'll look forward to seeing you again next week.
Get the skills, be the boss, no more time to feel lost. Lead the way, every day, find success, it's here to stay. Get the skills, be the boss, be the boss. No more time to feel lost.